Okay, I thought today we'd talk about some educational robot or space theme type things. In this case, we're looking at the magic robot who always gives you the right answer. And basically you have all these, if you're not familiar with this, there's all these sheets. This isn't just one sheet, there's many of them sitting here, and they have a front and a back side that you can flip over, and they'll all be on different topics. This particular one, I believe, is natural history. And the way you would make the robot work is you would bring him over to this side, and you would he'll only sit in here one way. You'd set him down, and then you would twist him around to whatever question it is that you want to know the answer to, or you think you know the answer to. And maybe you're having a bet with your friends, and this says, which is the fastest of all animals? And then if you know the answer, you can say it, and if you don't know the answer and you want to learn, you bring him over here. And then he slings around, and then right now he's pointing at the word cheetah. So the robot thinks that it's cheetah. Here's another version down here of the magic robot. The newer version of the robot quiz is sitting back behind here. Here we have what looks like almost Russian maybe. And all the sheets. The magic robot. This is Antwerp, what's that, German or something? I don't know. Astro, the wizard from Mars. So here's the wizard from Mars. General quiz number 1. And here's a kind of a paper on it. But it's the same type of thing. You've got a lot of different papers and they have different topics. And it's just a quiz type game. But then they also made ones that took batteries like this. Here you have Wiry Dan, the answer man, and he's got a ton of different sheets with different topics on it, and this one's American inventors. But you'd take these two probes and you would put one probe on, say, Thomas Edison, and then you would try to find what Thomas Edison might be related to up above, and if you're right, then Wiry Dan's face would light up. And Robot Sam, the answer man, there's Robot Sam up there. You can see he has a light bulb on the top of his head. So when you take his two probes and move them around and basically match up the images with the sentence. This one's Life of the American Indian. So you would try to get the correct answers there, and if you're right, then his face lights up. I liked the design of these magic robot things so much that at one point for the website Alphadrome, where most of the toy collectors for sci-fi and robots likes to go, I made games for the guys up there. At that time it was somewhere between 20 and 30 of these. I'm going to put a link down below that you guys can click on that will tell how many I made, and shows how a lot of the different colored robots and how I made them. But basically I made the entire game, including the box and the little robots and the whole bit. And we had on Alphadrome thread where they could make suggestions of which toys they would like to see. We need lots of different pages. I think there was like a dozen different pages of questions. But the way these things work, again, is you could bring the robot over and you would spin them around to something that you want to know the answer to. Like this one says, Robert the Robot remote control tractor. And then if you didn't know which image was Robert the Robot, or if you were betting someone, you could just drop the robot down and he's going to spin around. And there he is pointing at Robert the Robot in his remote control tractor. Kind of cool how they work. Don't require any batteries or anything like that. As far as more of the educational type games, see, there's all kinds of robot games. You've got, where are we going to draw the line? I mean, here's a robot pinball machine. Well, it's a robot game. Here's a Wise Guy. A lot of you may have never seen Wise Guy. That's why I kind of picked him out of all the different things I have. Here's his box back here. But basically, what you have is there's a bunch of these different cards, and in this case it would be math. And if you get the correct, the correct question, I guess we'll put it in the math question in this side and the correct math answer on this side, then the robot, of course, lights up and his head moves and the symbols smash together because you did it right. how it works is on the back of these, there's all these different contacts. There's a common and then all these other ones. And if they line up right, then that's why he reacts the way he does. Kids aren't supposed to know that though. What else? There used to be a big one, and I don't know where it's at, but it's out here somewhere. It was called Charlie and Me, and it was an answered game. There's one out here, I just don't remember where. But I do see the Mentor box. See that box up there that says Mentor? Hasbro's Electronic Wizard. I know where he's at, so let's go look at this Mentor. Even though the box is sitting there, the Mentor itself is clear the heck over here on this side of the room. And I think we're getting there. Yep, there he is. So there's the Mentor sitting right there. But it's a similar type deal. The finger is the electronic probe. And you can see there's 3 different light bulbs back there. 1, 2, and 3 Mentor chooses. And having never actually played it, I can't tell you how it plays, although it has to be similar in that there's multiple cards there with different type things. The particular one says American Tour. It says place the pawn in the pawn hole. Take turns with Mentor moving forward 1, 2, 3 holes each turn. Try to move the pawn into Chicago on your turn. Oh, I see. So this one's kind of a race to see who can get to Chicago first. Why you'd want to get to Chicago, I don't know. Here's one down here. It's got kind of an R2-D2 head that says Doctor's Camera, and it's got a probe that you touch in where you try to get the correct answers. It's kind of cool. Of course, there have been all kinds of robot educational things that aren't as old as the ones I've just been showing you. I mean, you've got all of these learning robots, which some of you may be familiar with. Talking Tutor. Of course, the 2XL. Anyone who's into collecting has seen those. They use the 8-track cartridges, and you have the buttons on the front to try to get the answers. It was kind of predates all of these more electronic versions of the same thing. I think there's some more over here. Got your little Fisher-Price ones for learning. What else? Do we want to stay educational, or do we just want to go into robot games? Hi, C-3PO. You know, when it comes to games, you go, is it going to be learning, or is it more like the Rock'em Sock'em? See, you got all these different versions, because they are games, but they're not educational. There's all these different versions of the Rock'em Sock'ems. And of course, you're probably familiar with the original larger one, which they then reissued in a slightly smaller format, and then of course the little handheld ones and everything else that has to go with that. I think there's a few more educational ones around here, but I can't remember exactly where. But just in general, in robot world, there's, oh, what am I looking at here? Let's get just above that guy's head. There's like these water games, robot water games, and I've got a lot of robot games where you like try to get the ball, you know, into the hole. Here we have some, I hope they're on screen. I can't really tell. I'm holding the camera way above my head at this point. Okay, was there anything else I wanted to cover while I'm in this side of the room? No, I think... I know I have other robot games because I can think of them, but whether I want to walk around and hunt for them, I'm not sure. I think we've covered enough. I mainly wanted to show those educational ones, and we covered those fairly well. The Magic Robot, the version I made, the Wizard, and the Big Charlie and Me, which is here somewhere. I just can't tell you where. It's so big I should be stumbling over the thing. But These are really cool. I really like these ones that don't require any batteries and yet perform a mystery kind of action where they can give you the right answer, and there's so many different sheets and so many different questions and topics. It's just a very cool idea. Of course, I love these versions too. The way they did these is pretty cool actually. Underneath all the sheets there'll finally be one layer of foil, and when they do a die stamp they don't have to go all the way through. So if that foil's on thick cardboard, they do a die stamp down, and basically it's like a very intricate circuit board where everything would sneak around, and when you touch the two probes in two places it's going to complete the circuit. Let's see if we can lift these up. My hands are numb. It's freezing out here. Maybe I can do it with my left hand better. Come on. See, there's a lot of sheets. Oh, and this one you can't actually see the circuit board underneath because they put one sheet on top of it to hide it. Let's see if they hide them on Robot Sam. I think I'm seeing it. I think we may be getting there. Here we go. There you go. I'm giving you a sneak peek at how they work. So they would basically glue their foil to that and then do a die stamp. And that intricate snaking around is what will cause points that will complete the circuit. And they're just betting on the fact that there are enough different points, enough different holes, that you're not always going to remember that, say, I'm just going to make this up because I don't know what the connection point is, but let's say that that hole, if you put one probe in, and that hole, you put one probe in, that would make the light. They're trying to bet that you wouldn't remember that it's always going to be those same two ones and cheat to get the answer. So they have enough different holes and enough different questions, and it would never be something, you know, as a diagonal. It would be that hole and then something random like up here in the middle somewhere, to make it harder for your brain to remember where you just were. Still cool. Not as cool as the magnetic magic robot quiz, or magic robot, or the Alphadrome robot. He knows all. Okay, I think that's it. Oh, it's got the Star Wars one. We can pull the parts out like in the operation. I got an R2-D2 version of that on the other side of the room, which I forgot to show you. But I think that's it for now.